And take a look at what Rams corner Nickell Roby-Coleman said about Brady. He will slowly start to reveal himself. Age has definitely taken a toll. I think that he's definitely not the same quarterback he was. He still can sling it, but he's not slinging it as much. Whatever he was doing because of his age and all that, he's not doing as much of that anymore. He's still doing the same things. He's just not doing as much of it. And sometimes it's not the sharpest. He had a lot to say. We are joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Good to have you with us this morning. But first, Skip.
Yeah.
So, you think Brady's going to play till 45?
I definitely believe he will play until he's 45. And a quick thought on Roby-Coleman.
What do you think of it?
Isn't he the guy who's luckiest to even be playing in the Super Bowl? Isn't he the guy who made the all-time blunder that should have been called?
Yeah.
And he was taken off the hook by 3 referees who decided not to pull their flags. And he dares to call out
Surprising.
Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady, the one man in sports you do not bet against and you do not call out. I keep telling you that, and you won't buy it. You won't listen. Yeah, call him out. Here we go. You know, this is the guy who has told you from the start, I'm going to play until I'm 45. I got to knock on wood because this is obviously barring career-threatening or ending injury, which obviously could happen on any given play. I'm knocking on wood again. But barring that, he will play until he's 45, and he will be driven by you and Eric Dickerson. I'm not sure about you. We'll see where you stand after this topic is over. But he loves to hear you scoff at him and dismiss him and disrespect him because you fuel him. And in the end, you keep trying to impose your rules on him, your career ceiling on him. Greg played until you were 32-ish, right? 32, 35 here. And he's saying 45, and you say, you can't do that. It's not feasible. It's just not possible. And he's saying, watch me. I'm going to shatter the mold. I'm going to play far longer than anybody has played because I've figured out how to even get better. We just saw 2 games, Chargers, Chiefs, in which I've never seen him better than in those 2 games. And after the Chiefs game, I don't think I've ever seen him have any more fun that he was having on that football field in overtime and soon after celebrating with his teammates. So what can he do in life to replace that? Well, it's impossible. You just can't. It's fun. You've won 3 of them. You won 1 of them. You know that euphoric feeling that you experienced. Well, he's experienced it 5 times, and he's got a shot at 6 times to experience it. And knowing him, he'll have a 7th and an 8th shot before this is all over. So I fully, completely expect him to play until he's 45. And I say God bless Roby-Coleman, because that's the exact thing that he needed to motivate him further for this Super Bowl.
Yeah, Edelman might catch 25 passes.
He might.
No, I'm going to say I don't believe it will, Skip. I thought he was going to be gone if they'd have kept Garoppolo. I believe he would have been gone then. But since that didn't happen, they got rid of Garoppolo, cleared the decks for Tom. I'm going to stick with it. I believe 20 years will be his last in New England. Now, he might choose to go elsewhere, and we've seen some of the other greats.
So you're saying next year, last year?
Last year. Okay. Next year's his last year. But say that with a caveat. Well, if they're going to run the ball and protect him like they did the last 2 games, well, he might play till he's 50. But Skip, we haven't seen them run the ball like this in 16 games. We haven't seen this offensive line protect him. Although he was the 3rd least sacked quarterback in all of football, he took some shots in some games, and he didn't look the same. So, as great as he looked in these final 2 games in the playoffs, with 1 to come, Tom didn't look like that a lot during the regular season. This is I'm not making this up. He didn't. He didn't look like this against Detroit. He didn't look like this against the Titans. He didn't look like this against Jacksonville.
How do you look against Patrick Mahomes? Just asking.
Okay.
But how do you look against Aaron Rodgers? I'm just asking. But Kirk Cousins?
There were other games in which you didn't look like this.
True. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm going to stick to my, I'm going to say 2020. He plays 20 seasons. It can go quick, Skip, because if you remember, Peyton Manning, his second to last year, he threw for 39 touchdowns, 1 behind Andrew Luck, who threw for 40. And the next year, he stepped off a cliff. Now, he was on fumes. And just as the fumes ran out, he crossed the finish line with a Super Bowl 50. That was it.
Does Tom Brady look like he's on fumes to you? I'm just asking.
Peyton Manning didn't look like he was on fumes when he threw 39 touchdowns, did he, Greg?
He didn't. However, and I've compared him to Peyton, and I'm done doing that because he's not Peyton. He will play till he's 45. he will flat out play till he's 45. And he said why. I have a goal. Number one, stop asking me.
Yep.
Tell me a player in sports that is more purpose-driven and intentional about a goal. None. This is why he's where he's at. Then you look at Tom Brady, he's never experienced losing. Why would he hang it up? And I don't think there's no way he's not playing for New England. They don't have the Steve Young. They don't have the Aaron Rodgers. They don't have the Andrew Luck draft pick that they see in the foreseen future right now that's going to replace him. They don't have these things in place. They did.
Right.
They thought but they don't have it any longer. So there's no reason for him to walk away right now. He's missed in his career 2 postseasons. 2. One because he was injured in 2008.
Yep.
Speaking of injury, how many times has he been injured? Once. 2008. And we continue to compare him to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had a serious neck injury where he probably shouldn't have come back from it. And so we look at Tom Brady. He's always been healthy. They've always protected him. Is he going to take hits? Absolutely. One thing I'm starting to understand about Tom Brady is if we just listen to him, we would learn a lot. Because he said in that interview, this year, it was a rough year. It was growing pains. And hopefully next year, I will learn from this year. Hopefully next year, I will learn from the mistakes I made this year and the things that the hurdles that I had to overcome this year. That's one thing about Tom Brady that I think we discount. Every single year, he's intentional about looking at the previous year and being better.
Yes.
And being better not only for himself, but for his team. One last thing. He said he's playing till he's 45. Giselle knows that he's playing till he's 45. I think after that, then he might be in trouble with home. Up until that point, I think she's giving him the leeway and the okay, you know what? He's going to play till he's 45.
Yeah, I'm done talking about it because you ain't listening to me no more.
No.
All it does is start an argument. We don't argue about anything except when you're coming home. So I'm going to leave you alone.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So all he needs is for one Nickel Roby Coleman to say what he said.
I didn't even say that.
You want to talk about starting the bonfire inside Tom Brady? Because he said all the things that you said during the year at various points when you had a case.
Yeah.
You could say, gee, I'm seeing that. But I kept telling you, well, I don't see that. I don't see drop in velocity or accuracy. You said he was flinching, ducking in the pocket, losing a little bit of nerve. And I'm sure if you look at all the game tape in order, that he's looking at it saying, nice, he's not who he used to be. Well, you better not dare that devil, man, because he's going to say, I'm going to get, I don't remember what number he wears, but he's just going to remember whatever
23,
number.
isn't he?
Is he 23? Maybe.
Look.
Oh, Tom knows what number he is.
Yeah. Oh, he'll know, and he'll only know 23. He'll only know whatever the number is, and he's going to be looking for him.
What is this supposed to do? You don't sneak up on nobody. I mean, look, we here. You playing the Rams. So what? So let me ask you a question. Tom, we're going to try to light me up?
No, Shannon, come on now. Come on. Now, you know better. You don't give. Both teams are here. Both teams understand why they've gotten here. We haven't heard this out of Nickel Roby all year.
No.
What are you doing? Number one, pay attention to what's on your people. Pay attention to what's going to be in front of you all week. You ain't got to worry about Tom Brady. You worry about 11. You worry about that guy.
You got your hands full with him.
Well, don't worry about slot corner. I think.
Yes.
Don't worry about nobody else but Julian Edelman. That's your focus. And you have to understand, this is why the Patriots are so great when it matters. They know when to mute themselves in the media. They know how to approach games like this. And teams, this is when they start to have advantages. And I'm not one to say that teams who haven't been there and haven't had experience don't have an advantage or disadvantage. But the disadvantage comes when you're asked questions like this and you don't know how to respond. Just give the man credit, know what you feel, and go about your business.
So true.
And yet, Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
I've told you all year that he's come the close. I don't think you can master the art of playing quarterback because it's just the hardest position to play in sports, and it's just such a dynamic where it's just ever changing. Defenses are figuring new ways to beat you, new ways to get to you, and yet in these two playoff games, he came the closest to mastering the art of playing quarterback, which also involves and entails getting rid of the ball very quickly. 2.18 seconds, the ball has been gone in the two playoff games. It's just hard to get to him.
Oh, you're not getting there.
It's why Joey Bosa finally he was just gassed in the fourth quarter and turned to him and said, quit throwing it so fast. Because it's so fast, he just wears out a pass rush because you just fight your behind off to get to him again and again and again, and the ball's gone, ball's gone, ball's gone. And he's processing so quickly, he's making correct reads, speed reading.
Yeah.
And so the ball's gone to the right receiver and hitting him in the hands. Well, it's hard to rush that. You can't stymie that with a pass rush because you're not going to get to him.
Well, the only thing you must take away is first option. And normally, I believe 80% of the time, Julian Edelman is his first option because he's the closest to him. He's going to run the shallow cross, or he's going to run the option route, the whip. You know, he starts in and goes back, or he's going to run the Zorro. He starts and then takes off again. So I believe you must start by taking him away.
Okay.
And so if you take him away, that's your 2.1. Now he brings it down. Now that's when Donald.
Now you got a shot.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's when Brockers are going to have to earn their pay. Because Wade said it.